online. First of all, the Snapchat photo by Jay at 7:30 that morning, and I did question this. I'm like, what on earth is this sort of colourful fabric around him? Now we know, and this is from his friend Brad, who had a phone call with him, and he actually showed him it was the blanket. They'd made up a bed for him in this Airbnb that he was sleeping in. Also importantly, the two men that he went to go and stay with, they had met them 3 days before. They'd hung out with them. They'd made friends on holiday. It wasn't two random people he'd met that night. They'd established a friendship, and Brad said they seemed like really cool guys. Jay was just not ready for his night to end. We have all been there, where other friends want to go to bed. Hey, let's have one more drink. That was, I believe, his intention for going up to the Airbnb. However, he did communicate to his friends via phone calls or text saying, oh, these guys have just gone to bed, maybe I'll just come back. But trying to get back in the middle of the night would have been impossible. His mindset that morning was, you wake up, I just want to get back. That was what he wanted, to just get back to his hotel, to his friend. His tone when he was then out walking, he steps over, there's big stones, painted stones, that border the entire mountain road. It is an extremely dangerous mountain road just to even get up there. It's an hour, 45 minutes to an hour drive on very winding roads, like a James Bond film. It's really quite scary to go up there. But anyway, he is seen by his friend stepping over these white stones, and that's when he starts going downhill. And that was new information to me, because we were looking logically, intuitively, that he might have tried to cut up the way, but he was actually going down. So he might have been further up and then trying to shortcut a next bit. You would not naturally think, I know, I'm going to go off the road. I'm going to go through this really dense cacti. There are little mountain paths, and if he would only really do that to try and cut a corner. So Paul Arnott, the experienced climber, yes, he's a TikToker, but he's actually out there. He's working harder than anyone out there. So he's actually changed his focus on where he's going to look based on the information that we got from his friend Brad. So that's really, really important. The phone call with Brad, they did establish exactly where he was, because I think he did a pin check or whatever, and he's like, oh, it's a 45-minute, 50-minute drive, or a whatever it was, 10 to 14 hour walk. And he said to him, mate, you need to get a taxi. And he was like, yeah, of course I do. He has a phone call after that with someone else. So the newspaper reports are saying, oh, he slipped while he was on the phone to his friend. Was this the moment? No, he was still okay. He'd cut himself. He had cut himself on cacti. He even questioned whether cacti was poisonous, because I think this cut or whatever was bothering him. So, we do know that he was off the road, and he was also off the road then when he spoke to Lucy, and that's when he, I think, begins to realise, hold on, I'm in trouble here. The battery's about to die. He was a bit disorientated. He'd probably had very little sleep, had been drinking, etc., and not thinking so clearly. But that moment when he realises this isn't a fun adventure, this is a bit more serious, and I think that's where the tone changed with the call with Lucy, and his phone died shortly thereafter. Now, what the police are doing, they've actually asked to see my report with the interview with Brad, because that will help them. I don't know why they haven't done that, or someone hadn't done that and passed it on before. It's really important to find out exactly where we know for sure he was or could have been at that time, based on call logs, etc. I actually took Brad's phone and was screenshotting his call log with Jay. Unfortunately, the final call with him was on Snapchat, so it doesn't show on the actual thing, but he remembers it was about 8:30, 8:40 was when he spoke to him last, and I believe Lucy spoke to him afterwards. So these are the things that we actually know. Is it possible he got back on the road and tried to thumb a lift? Yes. We cannot say whether or not that happened. Did he fall and hurt himself off the road? Highly possible. If he'd gone back on the road and been walking for any period of time, there would have been a cargo pass. We were up there from 7 in the morning, and even though it's extremely remote, there are vehicles going up there, and it gets busier as the morning goes on. The cafe where the lookout is, and they know he definitely got up to that point, or his phone pinged near there, it would have been shut at that time. It didn't open till 10. So trying to piece together all these bits of information. His family, I've spent quite a lot of time with them. His mum, who initially thought she might want to do an interview, she is so distraught right now.